Hello, everybody. Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signor, and man, we got to talk about Martin Scorsese. He's all over the internet right now. People are not happy with his thoughts about the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Some people are agreeing with him. A lot of people are very mad, thinking he's jealous. He's basically gone on record calling him out, saying he doesn't really like the films. They're not his cup of tea, if you will. Let's look at the quote directly and let's talk about it. I want to share my thoughts. The quote directly in response to I can't find the actual source, but this is seemingly the quote. And they say he was asked directly, what do you think of the Marvel movies? Not just superhero movies. It was clearly asked about Marvel movies, which is important, but that's what it seems to be asked. And the question, the answer to that question, he said, was, I don't see them. I tried, but that's not cinema. Honestly, the closest I can think of them, as well made as they are, with actors doing the best they can under the circumstances, is theme parks. It isn't the cinema of human beings trying to convey emotional, psychological experiences to another human being. Look, I mean, I understand I respect Scorsese like crazy. I'm not going to say he doesn't have his right to say this. Of course, I can see what he's trying to say. Are the comic book movies that we know and love? Are they One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest? Are they 12 Angry Men? Are they Wizard of Oz? No. Citizen Kane? No. At the same time, they are to our generation. There is just a different shift right now. And this idea that they can't be cinema, I think that's dangerous. Scorsese's like making movies for Netflix and streaming, and then Endgame's keeping movie theaters alive. So it is a weird shot at the Marvel movies that I think he could have been careful. I mean, he probably wasn't. What's so great about Scorsese and why I think people are getting us a bent of shape is he just doesn't care. He doesn't have to care. He can do whatever the hell he wants. And I think he's just doesn't like big, loud action movies. And he's not the only one. There are a lot of comments as I was digging around. I remember reading this one from Terry Gilliam, director of 12 Monkeys, from Monty Python, Brazil. He went on saying that it bothers me that people are so desperate to believe in superheroes rather than real people doing extraordinary things. The Man Who Killed Don Quixote, director, said, superhero movies don't interest me. I really don't watch most of them. If I do, I kind of feel envious because some of the people just working on these films are really good, much better than I could ever be. I think the problem is that so much money is going into these films. There's no money left for the middle range budgets of films. Either you make a film for less than 10 million or more than 100 million. At least that middle area is not being funded, and that's sad. But even he went on to admit that during the award season, he was talking about how these films, these Marvel films, superhero films, they're boring. I mean, they're repetitive. They're technically brilliant. The work is amazing. There's some very good actors working. There's some very wonderful moments in them. But to me, it's the same film. I keep watching the same film. The Avengers is the last one with Josh Brolin as the bad guy. I quite like that movie. I've been watching a lot of Oscar screeners, and I was getting more and more bored, and suddenly something came along, and it made me smile. Look, to me, I brought this Terry Gilliam quote because to me, it's sort of the same idea as what Scorsese is saying, but I think he gives it more context. And I think Scorsese needed to explain it better because I don't think he's just calling them out saying they're not good movies. Like, he's clearly saying they're well made, good actors. He's just calling them big spectacles. They're visual explosions for the eyes. But I think that's unfair to say when you haven't seen them, as he sort of admitted. He says he's tried to watch them, but just makes him sound like a grumpy old man, like Grandpa Simpson yelling at cloud. There are some films out there. I mean, come on. Joker right now, which is borrowing a lot from Scorsese's films, I do think, packs some emotional weight. This is a human being in the movie trying to convey psychological experiences, and I think other fans are reacting as such. Some critics aren't, but a lot of critics are. A lot of people are. I mean, you could go back to even just Christopher Nolan's series, I think, has a lot of emotional weight. Logan. Come on. There's so much. In fact, the biggest sort of reaction back was James Gunn, who reacted and said, Martin Scorsese is one of my five favorite living filmmakers. I was outraged when people picketed The Last Temptation of Christ without having seen the film. I'm saddened that he's now judging my films in the same way. And then he goes on to sort of add, that said, I will always love Scorsese, be grateful for his contribution to cinema, and I can't wait to see The Irishman. He's playing it safe, but he's doing a shot back where it's like, don't judge my movie. Don't judge Guardians of the Galaxy without seeing it. Now, I would argue Guardians of the Galaxy is still one of the ones he's talking about. I mean, I like Guardians of the Galaxy, but I don't know. Part 2, I was not as big a fan of, and I think filmmakers obviously take them very, emotionally seriously. But I don't know. I think all of the movies in Marvel, I can see a little bit of what Martin Scorsese's saying. They are really big popcorn movies, but at the same time, there are movies like Iron Man and Winter Soldier. I think those Wonder Woman, even I think those movies resonated with sort of Black Panther. Even I think there are ones that have come in that have stood up as real strong movies. And to say they're not cinema, I think is unfair. Are they more entertaining? Are they more popcorn features? Yes. Are they bigger budgeted blockbusters? Absolutely. And do some of the MCU movies feel repetitive? Yes. If you don't admit that, you're lying to yourself. That doesn't mean they can't be fun. As Terry Gilliam says, Infinity War, that was kind of an unexpected, fun, finale. Granted, they changed it in Endgame, but still, that's why I know there's a lot of people out there who prefer Infinity War because it sort of had, balls to it, whereas Endgame then came back and just saved everything. I like them both. They're good. To me, they are cinema experiences. They're different. But it's the same reason why I'm frustrated Scorsese's not pushing for Irishman to really be in cinemas, and he's going and streaming. I don't know. How can you cinema to me is if you're going to call it the artistic word of cinema which has a bigger emotional weight, then you got to also go with it should be in a theater. And so for Scorsese, I don't think he's jealous. He doesn't have to be jealous. He's old enough to be like, I don't care about these young, dumb superhero movies. But I do think there's a frustration of his like, why can't I have my big theater experience? These should be in the theater too. Why aren't people wanting to see them? That frustrates me. I don't think that's jealousy. I just think that's frustration. I'm just like, come on. I want my films to be in cinemas like the Avenger movies. And we should want that. I share that frustration. But for him to say that they're not conveying emotional or psychological experiences to other human beings in the Avengers movies, or any of the Marvel or superhero movies in general, I think that's ignorant. That's not accurate. He has, of course, his right to think whatever he wants, but it is, as James Gunn says, and I think his clapback is fair, don't judge a movie without seeing it. You don't judge books without, just by the cover. And while, I think some cinephiles are agreeing and saying, yeah, Scorsese's right, he's also wrong. Doesn't mean we can't respect him still. Doesn't mean he can say whatever the hell he wants. But it also means he can be wrong in this instance. And I think, people can enjoy the movies. They can totally be cinema experiences. They officially are for our age. And Irishman will be a big experience too. But if he really wants to fight for cinema, to me, I get frustrated. I'm like, dude, Netflix, push them to have longer windows. Get AMC on board. The Irishman's only going to screen in independent theaters and not in the big theater chains because they're like, well, we're not going to make any money if you leave it out and people know it's coming out and streaming in a month. And they're right. They have a business model, and that's cinema, and you should be standing up for cinema. So I think it's slightly hypocritical. And I haven't seen a lot of these comments, but if you're really going to fight for cinema, fight for the cinema, the art of going to the cinema to see the lights go down and stare at a screen for 2 hours without our phones, without being interrupted by kids. I mean, sometimes we are with the audience, but the whole intent of when it's supposed to work, you're not supposed to be distracted by those things. If you really want to stand up for cinema, Martin Scorsese, I feel like that's the better argument here. What do you guys think? Do you think he's out of touch here? He's allowed to be, obviously, but I want your thoughts. Do you think he has a point? Hit it up down in the comments below or hit me up on social media. And as always, please subscribe, hit that notification bell, engage with this video, please, and all my videos. I'll be back with some more this weekend. Thank you so much for watching. Check out our Joker spoiler and non-spoiler reviews, as well as Best Joker. We debate it all. You can go check it out in the previous videos, so please check them out. Thank you so much for watching. Have an awesome weekend, and I'll be back soon. Bye, everybody.